mines to mine the gold, to create the aerosols to save their planet, and they also ingested these aerosols as well. Um, that's all true. That did happen, but there's more to the story. The original program there was aligned with universal law, and it was a win-win situation because the Anunnaki uh, gave us a huge upgrade in genetics, and put us further on our path to more of a spiritual evolution, a higher evolution. And in return, we helped them to mine the gold. And it wasn't done as with whips and chains and things of that nature. It was an agreement, between the two parties. So it's a little different story. And but the problem with that is once they left, the original ones, when they left a group behind to oversee humanity, a new civilization, and that group fell. And they found the daughters of man to be fair, took them as wives. There's a lot of interbreeding, a lot of demigods were created, and that's where all these stories come from. The gods, the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, all these stories about the demigods and that we've heard about in ancient history all go back to the Anunnaki. And it makes a lot more sense when you understand how that works. But anyway, to make a long story short, the fallen Anunnaki were having all kinds of turf wars and struggles here and fighting amongst themselves. And it was the original Hatfield and McCoy program going on. And it involved nuclear bombs, everything. I mean, it was quite a mess. They made quite a mess down here. And they behaved very badly, to say the least. And a lot of them wanted to be worshipped, and some were benevolent. Enki was the benevolent. He was the creator god. He loved his creations. He loved humanity. He wanted to continuously upgrade humanity and make them one, one with the gods. Enlil had an extreme disdain for humanity. He was the warring, wrathful god. And he and some of his subgroups, they would rather see all of us pretty much go away. And we're seeing this acted out right now in present-day civilization, where we have one group that wants to, genocide 80% of the planet. They want us gone. And another group wants to, help us move forward and evolve to our highest potential. So, and we're a big mix of all of that. And it's happening as we speak. So anyway, the legacy of the gods is playing out right now, and we need to get real clear on which side of the fence we're going to be on when this all plays out, because the old program is coming to an end. The days of tyranny, all the nonsense behind that, these hierarchical programs, the ones that are imbalanced, that lack the feminine input, are all coming to a close. They're imploding right now. And so there's some interesting energies coming in, different types of energies coming in from galactic plane. The sun is bombarding us with neutrinos. There's so many things that are happening right now. Infrasound is moving throughout the entire planet. The planet is shaking and booming and rattling, and sinkholes are popping up everywhere. The earthquakes and volcanic activities increased 500%. I can go on, but you can see the severe weather and the storms happening right now as we speak, that are happening with devastating tornadoes and other events, hurricanes, cyclones, whatever. But anyway, we're in the shift right now, and the shift has hit the fan. I mean, we're in the middle of it. It's huge. And we are moving into a whole new place in the universe. We're moving into a different dimension. There's so much energy involved in this. The whole planet is vibrating right now. Those who are clairvoyant can actually see the energy coming off the earth. They can see light and energy and flashes of orange and gold and things of that nature. You'll see it out your side vision, because the cones in your eyes, in your peripheral vision, picks up these higher dimensional realities that are going on. A lot of us are seeing shadow people running around. We're seeing beings appear, light beings. The whole gamut is happening. So one thing I want to talk about is that just as there's amazing benevolence out there, which is the bigger picture, most of the universe is benevolent, and especially the higher dimensions. There are some malevolent factions, and there has been since the beginning of time that have operated here on the planet. And that's what we're dealing with right now. There's a massive cleanup underway. A lot of these reptilian gray factions, the regenerate ETs, and some of the other groups, they call them the Archons, are being cleaned up. And humanity, and especially those who choose, are being empowered, awakening, and really seeing all these influences around them, whereas before they didn't even know they existed. So there's a huge awakening going on, and hopefully an empowerment, and people are standing up and saying enough's enough. You're seeing it in the news, things like the Bundy Ranch and things of that nature. This is happening everywhere. There's people that are exposing the Vatican. They're exposing the Federal Reserve for what they are. They're exposing, the Queen and all these old programs, these old hierarchical programs that rule through tyranny and are responsible for the war and the disease profiteers. They're responsible for the lack and the poverty and the disease on the planet. Those are all being exposed for who they are. It's very important to realize that there is no lack on this planet. It's manufactured. There is no lack in nature. There never has been. And there's an abundance of food. There's abundance of everything. We don't need the oil. We don't need the fracking. We don't need drilling and destroying the oceans, the deep water drilling. We don't need any of this. We don't need the tar sands and all these things going on. This is all totally unnecessary. But we're ruled through fear. They're telling the people, we need these resources to keep going. We need this. We need that. We need those resources to keep the tyrants in power, because when they bring out the fuelless energy technologies and the earth-friendly technologies, people have a lot more time on their hands. They're not enslaved through dependency. There's not a manufactured lack anymore for power and resources, and it frees the people. And so it's very important to realize that the people that are continuing in these programs and trying to tell you we have to, destroy our air, our water, our land, and especially with this fracking and these tar sands and all these other things, the people that are telling you that we need to do this are completely ignorant of what's available right now to humanity and the earth. Some of these devices are being released right now. I think they have the quantum generator, which is Tesla technology that's out. That's the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of other technologies. We've had anti-gravity, we've had counter-gravity in the black projects, we've had dimensional travel, we've had jump rooms, all these things, for a long time. And we've been going back and forth to Mars and the moon since 1960, and they don't want you to know about this. So we don't need to be sending people up on giant firecrackers hoping they don't blow up, which is what we have been doing, and putting our astronauts in extreme danger and jeopardy when we've had these counter-gravity devices that would zip us back and forth to the moon in moments and back to Mars. It's a very short trip with these new technologies. But anyway, can you imagine that these technologies, if they were available to us here on Earth, we wouldn't have traffic jams. You wouldn't have gas and belching cars and fumes all along the highways. You wouldn't have all the additives going into the air that are killing the trees. You wouldn't even need this chemtrail mess that's going on right now, because you wouldn't have global warming. Especially the CO2 problem wouldn't be there. But anyway, the global warming is actually coming from another event. It has nothing to do really with carbon emissions. It has everything to do with an evolutionary process that's underway, where the sun's going through a massive change, and our whole solar system is moving to a new place in space that's a highly energized place. We're aligning with galactic plane, and there's other energies that are bombarding the Earth. We're getting hit with gamma ray bursts constantly. We have up to 500 more bursts hitting the planet now a day than usually. It used to be about 50, now it's up to about 500. So the Earth is just rocking and rolling and shaking and moving through these times, and we need to adjust with the Earth. We need to become frequency specific to the Earth's evolution, and that's what's happening right now. She's moving forward. She's ascending. She's going to heal herself. She's going to do what's necessary to clean up, and we need to pay attention to that and be in the right place, at the right time when these events happen. And how do you do that? You tune in to the mother, you take your shoes off and you walk on the grass, you meditate, you ask your higher self what's going on. Make your own personal God, creator, spirit connection, whatever you call that. Hook up with the benevolent ETs. I mean, they're here to assist us and guide us as well. But don't forget the God within. The same creator within you is within them as well. And some are in service to creation. They've evolved to that level, and some have not. I mean, there are some regenerate ETs that are in service to self, and they really care nothing about humanity, which is why we have all the problems we have today. So one question I would like to talk about is we have to ask ourselves, if we are being led by benevolent forces, and if our leadership is enlightened, if our leadership is aligned with service to others, we have to look at the condition of the planet. We have to look at the wars, the diseases, the depleted uranium that's spread across the globe, the Fukushima. I can go on and on. These dump sites, these radioactive dump sites that are going off right now, that we still don't know how to get rid of the radioactive material, supposedly, but we do. We can totally negate that. We can use plasma energies, Brown's gas, things of that nature, where we can totally negate the radiation. But there's so much money in storing it and going through these other processes that don't work because they don't want a solution, because there's so much money around keeping the problem going. And it's all about greed. The bottom line is we are ruled by greed. We are ruled by unconscious individuals that care nothing about humanity and the earth. They owe their allegiance to another force, another power, and it has nothing to do with service to humanity, and it has everything to do with exploiting humanity and nature, and that's the bottom line. Take a good look at what's happening around you and the condition of the environment, the condition of society. Look at, the poverty, the homelessness, look at the manufactured lack going on. This is all because we have an extreme lack in leadership, benevolent leadership. Now, in most civilizations, highly advanced civilizations, they choose their leadership according to their spiritual abilities and their track record of service to their society. They are not chosen by the amount of wealth that they've amassed or the amount of connections that they have with the major corporations. It's not a money thing. They don't even have money, and they lack for nothing. So if we look at a higher civilization and look at how they govern themselves, it's completely different. I mean, they have people in leadership, councils, things of that nature, that are extremely advanced beings that are overseeing all the future implications of whatever they do and making sure that no harm comes to their civilization or their planet. They're very wise. They've had their shifts, their changes. They've gone through their challenges and they've transcended them. So they've transcended war and disease, poverty, all these things. They lack for nothing. And they're here to assist us if we want to go in that direction. But the problem is our leadership is not stepping up to the plate. And this offer has been given to them, I would say, back in the 30s and 40s. It's an offer by benevolent civilizations, but there was stipulations. Is one, we had to get rid of our nukes. And our nuclear industry, we had to get rid of that because it was an extreme detriment to the planet. So we chose not to, and we aligned ourselves with a less than benevolent race, a group that would give us the technology without any stipulations. And unfortunately, we took that choice and aligned ourselves with a more malevolent group, a more self-serving group. And I know that most people within the system that know of this realize they made a very serious mistake and are now trying to change that, rectify that mistake. And we do have the benevolent ones that have been waiting in the wings that are coming in now to help out. So as far as the benevolent races, I want to talk a little about, there are the benevolent Anunnaki that are returning. They're extremely advanced. They're very loving, very wise, very powerful. They're not going to intrude, but they are going to take those that were left behind, those who have acted in a very gross and negligent way according to universal law. They are going to pull them before their councils and take care of that mess. That's part of their karma. We've had the Pleiadians, the Orion Council of Light, the Andromedans, the Arcturians, and the Lyrians. A lot of these beings, there's an alliance right now that's coming in to assist us in ridding ourselves of the tyrants. And so the Regenerate ETs and the Archon Network and the other things that have been grossly misleading humanity and the Earth, that's well underway. The whole Earth is going through a vibrational lifting. It's changing in frequency, and we have to adjust to that frequency. And these new frequencies coming in, these other beings, tyranny is not going to be allowed to function. It's not frequency specific to where the Earth is going and the shift that's underway. So these regenerate groups and the tyrants and those who have totally exploited humanity, the Earth, are not going to fare very well in the days to come. Their only salvation is to shift their resources and their energies back into the awakening and healing process. That's their only way out. And they will get help and they will get assistance as long as they go in that direction. But there's a lot of them that are just too locked in. They're too power hungry and greedy, and they've gone mad, basically. And you'll see them going mad in the days to come. You'll see them blatantly losing it because they can't maintain their reality, their consciousness. Even their physical bodies are going to fail them. So just a little heads up, we're in the middle of that process. It's very important now for us to live a life of impeccable integrity, to go through life with an open mind, a loving heart, and pure intent, and step away from anything that is not in the highest and best good of humanity and the Earth. Be very careful of who you align yourself with in business, in dealings, in everything. In every way. Align yourself with those who are on the path, that those who are awakening, that those who are healing, and those who are choosing to live a life in alliance and in accordance with universal law. Because universal law is coming. The ultimate law is love, and it's time to make kindness your everyday practice. And realize that, we're all in this together, that we all exist within the unified field. And what we do to each other, or what we do to one, we do to the whole. And there is no separation. There's no separation with you. That's only an illusion. There's no separation in God. God's omnipresent. God's not a little old man with a beard, that's going to drop in on you. That's the Anunnaki representation, where we got the image of God to be the bearded God. That's where that came from. The source is far beyond that. It's a power, it's a frequency, it's a force, and it's benevolent, and it's very loving. And, it's something we all need to connect to and find within ourselves. So anyway, in closing, the last thing I want to say is what the benevolent Anunnaki are saying right now is it's time for us to lead ourselves from our own heart and soul. It is time for us to look to our neighbors, look to our families, and look to how we can be of service to each other on the planet. And it's time to stop serving the fallen ones and to pull away from those programs. And that's their message. And I know the Pleiadians have been talking a lot lately, talking about how some huge waves of energy are coming in. Especially in the next week or so, there's going to be exponential. It's going to keep getting stronger and stronger. And these energies, as they come through, are going to push us all to evolve, to let go of the old wounds and traumas and the old hurts and the old grudges, and release these and heal these and move back into unity consciousness. What they call the ninth wave. The Mayans talk about the ninth wave of unity consciousness that is flowing through the planet right now. We're in the middle of that, and we're all moving into that direction. So it's a massive river of energy coming in, and I would advise not to try to swim against it or to war on it or try to stop it, because you can't. It's much bigger than anything we can imagine. So anyway, on that note, I'd like to just say, make love and kindness your practice, shift into service, realize that this is an abundant universe. There's no reason for lack, and it's time to hold our leadership responsible and to be very clear that they need to operate under universal law. And a lot of people go, what is universal law? It's very simple. It's called universal peace, brother-sisterly love, individual freedom and prosperity for everybody, and seeing the Creator in all creation. That's universal law. It's not that complicated. It's very simple, as all powerful things are very simple. So we need to get back to simplicity and stop looking outside of ourselves for love, acceptance, approval, anything. We need to find those within ourselves, and stop running this external program. That the fancy car, the big house, the babe in the bikini and the beer and all that stuff is going to make you happy, as all the programs and TV programs are telling you. It's not. Trust me, I've been there. Been there, done that a long time ago. Happiness comes from within, and the extreme happiness comes from making your own personal God connection. That's where the real joy comes from, and allowing that to flow through you to others. That's extreme happiness, if you want to go to the extremes. But anyway, again, on that note, I think it's time to sign off. Until we meet again, have a great day, and practice love and kindness, and let the love of Source flow through you to all that you see, to all you experience.